Off Script with Super E recommends listener discretion as these real but sometimes uncensored stories can be filled with mature content.
This is Off Script with Super E. I am your host, A-Train, and of course I have with me the star, Super E.
What's up, everybody? How's it going?
How are you today, Super E?
Doing good.
Good. Have you thought of some stories to tell us today?
Well, I was thinking about the investigations that your guys' unit did, and I was always interested in these, and I always wanted to do one, but I never got a chance, was the murder-for-hire investigations you guys did, and I remember the one that you did was very interesting because it had a twist at the end.
Yes.
That was very intriguing, but unfortunately wasn't able to follow up on it. But I think this is something that I think the people will be interested in.
So you want old A-Train to tell a story?
A-Train, tell us a story of your murder for hire.
Well, I'll do that for you, Super E. I was in homicide for a while, and then I got this, took a new position it was under organized crime, and we did undercover stuff. We did a lot of different stuff in that unit. We did like organized theft rings and fencing operations. We did a lot of surveillance, and then we also were responsible for any murder for hire cases that came in, and we usually got 2 or 3 of those a year, maybe.
Right.
So this case came up, and it was my turn in the rotation to, take care of it. So what happened was there was this guy. He worked at a tow lot here in town, and he worked with a guy that, over the course of several months, this guy just was talking to him about how much he hated his wife and how he just wished she'd disappear, and just was always bitching about her. And so finally one day, this coworker who was kind of a little shady guy, I think the suspect knew it, and I think that's why he was talking to him about it. And he said, he goes, I really just wish she would just die. And he asked this dude, he goes, you're kind of shady, would you or would you know somebody that might just kill my wife and just get her out of the picture? And this coworker of his, he got a little nervous. He's like, man, this guy's talking about wanting to have his wife killed.
Right.
So he came to, he called the police, and they, ended up sending him to us. And that's usually how these kind of cases, somebody will hear something like this and get scared and tell the police. So anyway, I met with this coworker, and we talked, and he was like, listen, he goes, I'm really afraid this guy, if we don't do something, he is going to find somebody to kill his wife. And I'm like, well, let's see if we can, get something going. So this coworker talked to this guy, and said, hey, you'd asked me about that. He goes, I do. I got this cousin of mine. His name's Billy. He lives down in Kentucky. He is, totally desperate for money. He says he'll take care of that job for you. So the guy's like, okay, well, let's meet Billy. I want to talk to him. So
now, do you think, was the suspect ever leery of talking to this coworker about this, or was he like, this coworker is so shady that I'm completely confident?
Well, I think it progressed over a period of time. He just kind of was feeling this guy out, and then I think just got to the point. Hey, this guy, he's so crooked. Maybe he would do this.
Okay.
So I think he just got comfortable with him. So okay. So anyway, this coworker says, hey, I got my cousin Billy. He wants to talk to you. So we set up this deal, and I had the coworker was with me, and I had a pickup truck, and we had it wired, and we had cameras in there, hidden cameras, and so we made an arrangement to go pick this guy up and we were going to talk. So I rolled up to this guy's house and he got in the pickup truck and, let me say this first, or Super E. So, people think, well, A-Train, you really don't look like a hitman. I mean, you just don't have that persona. And I'm like, well, what's a hitman look like?
Right.
Does he look like some mercenary guy, or is he just some pathetic loser that would do anything for money? And I went with the latter. And I know it's hard for you to believe, but I projected myself as Billy, the loser from Kentucky who would do anything for money. So I know that's a hard image for you to get in your head.
That's a far reach, yes.
It is, but I would just kind of give you that little backstory. So anyway, I pick this guy up, and he gets in the car, and we just start driving around, and we're kind of just talking, kind of feeling each other out. He's asking me questions and this and that, and
did you feel like he was giving you the cock test? You think he was seeing if you were the real deal or not?
I mean, yeah, a little bit. He was just, a little leery. Of course, you're going to meet with somebody and ask them to kill your wife. You're going to kind of feel them out a little bit. And,
right.
But I guess I portrayed myself as a pathetic loser enough that,
again, a far reach.
Right. It disarmed him, a little bit. And he's like, well, okay, this guy really is, a loser and probably will do anything for money. So I think I was successful in that. And again, it was quite a reach for me. But, so we get to talking, we're driving around, we're talking. I mean, we drove around for a while. And, finally, the subject came up. I'm like, hey, this guy's telling me you need a job done. And then he's like, well, yeah. He goes, I do. I'm just getting so sick and tired of my bitch wife that I just want her gone. And so, I'm like, well, what do you mean by gone? What are you talking about? He goes, well, I really want somebody to kill her. And then he just kind of, looks at me, is that something you do? And I'm like, well, yeah, the price is right. I guess I could do that. We get talking more, and, he starts telling me some details about her and her routine and just, what she does. And, I said, well, yeah, okay. And, how what are you going to pay? And he told me $1,500. And it doesn't sound like a lot of money, but
it sounds kind of low.
For a loser like Billy, he's going to take whatever that guy was going to offer probably. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. And, so we agreed on this, the guy, and I made him say it several times.
What elements did you need him to say?
So, it takes, okay, so obviously, I made him tell me several times, I want you to kill my wife. And then we agreed upon how much he was going to pay me to kill his wife. And we talked about that several times. And so I told him, yeah, okay, I'll do it. And he starts giving me specifics about his wife and, where she works and how every morning before work, she takes a bath at 5 o'clock in the morning, every morning. And he's like, this is what I want you to do. While she's taking her bath, and, he was going to be at work because he worked nights. And I want you to drown her in the tub to make it look like an accident, like an accidental drowning.
Correct.
And so, Billy, being as sophisticated as he is, he says, well, yeah, I could do that. That sounds kind of elaborate. I kind of thought I'd just pull up next to her in a car and just blow her head off. And he's like, well, no, I want this to look like an accident. And I'm like, okay, all right, well, and so he described his wife, and he kind of described her as kind of a fire plug, stocky kind of lady. And so I tell him, reservation, I'm like, listen, I think I can do that, but boy, if she puts up a struggle, and he was real adamant about not leaving like bruises and marks on her. And I'm like, well, that might be kind of tough. She's going to fight me back. Loser Billy here. I don't know if I can handle, I hope I can handle her. And so he's like, well, that's how I want it done. So Billy says, okay, I'll do it. Sure. Yeah, this and that. So
now, well, I got a question right there with that conversation. Would you have enough for a search warrant, or is there another pice of evidence you need?
Yeah, no,
to get an arrest warrant. Arrest warrant.
Yeah, no, that's not enough. You have to get then, conversation isn't enough. You have to get that a substantial step. Okay.
Okay.
And a lot of times that would be in these, the person, handing you the money, maybe providing the weapon, giving you pictures or maps, or here's the house, whatever, a picture of the person that he wants killed. So it takes conversation and substantial step. Okay, so we've had that initial conversation, and it's like, okay, all right, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll kill your wife for $1,500. He's like, all right. He goes, I just want her gone. And I'm like, okay. So anyway, so I take him back home. He's had a truck. So that's the initial conversation. So subsequently, we have several more conversations. He's getting more and more specific. He's telling me things, And
that's building your evidence to make a successful conviction.
It's exactly.
A successful case. Okay.
Exactly. So, he's giving me those specifics again. 5:00 every morning in the bath. I want you to drown her, this and that. He provided me address, map to the house, all those specific things that I needed for that substantial step. And so anyway, again, subsequent conversations, we talked about it, quite a bit. And so it ended up, I went to the prosecutor, presented the evidence, and they were like, yeah, okay, yeah, I think we better do something, or he is going to find somebody to kill his wife. So they ended up giving me a warrant for conspiracy to commit murder. And so again, he worked at a tow lot. So we arranged, there were a couple undercover detectives, had them call in a fake tow, like their car was broken down. We knew he was working. And so they sent him to tow their car. So as he's there, towing the car, we had the SWAT guys roll up behind him in the their SWAT van. And we had SWAT because this guy always carried a gun. Okay. And so we, just didn't want anything to go wrong. So they pull up and they get out. We were watching this from across the street with binoculars. It was kind of entertaining. So he started, when these SWAT guys came up, he started to get a little squirrely, and they immediately shut him down. Yeah, they took care of him. So so he got arrested on that warrant for conspiracy to commit murder. And so he went down, and then something happened that really I've never seen before in my career.
What's that?
I think it was 2 days later after he got arrested. He called the media to come down to the jail because he wanted to give an interview. So
really, that is strange.
So they went in there, and he got on the news and said, "Honey, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I hired that man to kill you. I love you."
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did. He sure did. So that was a little unusual. Hadn't had that one happen before. So then, within 2 weeks, I got a call from the prosecutor. He had signed a plea deal.
Really? That fast?
2 weeks. You ever had that happen before, Super E?
Oh, just one time that I can remember, yeah. That's very rare.
Yeah, so 2 weeks he signed a plea deal, 30 years, conspiracy to commit murder, and yeah, that was it. So I think he felt bad for trying to have his wife killed. That's what I think. What do you think?
I think so. Now, didn't they have some more information on this guy you was telling me about, where another situation happened that he wanted you to do that happened to one of his relatives?
Yes. So there's a third unusual part of this. Yeah. So
what was that?
After all this, we had discovered then in some subsequent information or investigation that a couple years prior, so he and his wife had a adult disabled daughter that lived with them. Okay, and we discovered that a few years prior, his disabled daughter had died there in the house. Okay, and it turned out, guess how she died, Super E?
How's that?
She drowned in the bathtub.
You know, that's too much of a coincidence. I don't care if you're disabled or what. You don't just drown in the bathtub.
So, that death initially was listed as an accidental death. So it got reopened, that case did, and they took another really, really hard look at that case, and there just wasn't enough evidence to link him to that death. It certainly made you scratch your head, that that's how his daughter died, and that's how he wanted his wife to die, So, yeah, unfortunately, there wasn't enough then to pin that on him, but so. Well,
that's a little eerie that he wanted his wife to die the same way that his disabled daughter did.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds like he felt like, I got away with it once, drowning in the bathtub.
Yeah.
This is how we're going to get away with it again.
Exactly.
But you just can't prove it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one of those things, unfortunately, like when I worked homicide, there were just, a few cases where this person did it, but there just isn't the evidence there to charge.
That's what's frustrating for us. We know, it's like we know this person did this, or we know this person's doing this. We just can't prove it for the prosecutor to be able to take it in front of a jury.
Exactly, and the prosecutor, they're only going to charge cases that they think they can win in court. And that's just the nature of the business, I guess. But
I think desperate, pathetic Billy saved a woman's life.
Billy, as pathetic as he is, he has a good heart.
He does. He means well.
He does mean well. Yes, he was going to kill her, but yeah,
he has a heart of gold.
He does have. Billy has a heart of gold.
We should hook him up with Vicky, the wallhead.
I think they'd be a great pair.
Yeah, they would.
An absolute great pair. Yeah. So, so Billy did a good job on that one. Bless his heart.
I always found those cases interesting that you guys did, and I always want to do one, but the opportunity never arose.
See, now if you'd have done this, you would have done it a different way. You might have been more of the badass hitman, maybe.
I don't know how I'd handle it, but I think that your way I think it made it more believable to where, you didn't come across as you know, the stereotypical Hollywood hitman where you show up in dark shades and a suit. You know, you were believable that, hey, I live in a trailer park. I'm on meth. I'm from Kentucky. I drink Mountain Dew. I need money.
We are not disparaging Kentucky because that's where my people are from.
Yeah, my people are too. Kentucky, we love you. That's where we're all from.
Right, but it was just, you know, you know, he's not from around here, you know.
Exactly, but Billy's not around here, and Billy needs the money. So I think that's what probably made the guy go, you know what, I believe this guy. I think this guy will do this, especially when you said, well, I don't know if I want to do it that way, because I think, you know, if you would have said, okay, I'll do it this way, just like you said, without putting up a little bit of a fuss or questioning it, that might have made him even more suspicious, because, you know, he's got to be on high alert because he probably watches TV Dateline where everybody who hires a hitman ends up getting locked up.
Exactly. And, you know, so looking at pathetic Billy, he was like, well, he can't be the police. He's so pathetic.
Exactly. I think that was the best route to go on that one, because it was successful.
Yeah. So it turned out good. It turned out good.
Well, thanks for telling us that, A-Train.
Well, no problem, Super E. Yeah. I don't know. Was that entertaining?
Yeah, it was entertaining and informative, because I think people are curious about that, because, you know, this could be your next door neighbor, your, like you said, or your coworker who's ready to commit homicide, and the dude was carrying a gun. He might at any time just snapped and shot her himself.
True. That is true. And, you know, the other thing to remember, too, is there are a lot of people like Pathetic Billy that are out there that will do anything for money. Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah. Uh-huh. All right. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that. We gave Super E's vocal cords a rest on this one. So we'll just come back and listen to us again. We'll have something else entertaining for you. All right?
All right. Everybody take care. Thanks, A-Train.
All right. See ya.
See ya.